I was feeling overworked. I was doing vendor events every single weekend, lots of hustle, trying to get new sales every single month and having to start over every day or every month was having to start over. I was just burned out. I couldn't keep up with that kind of pace anymore. So I knew I needed something different. So the timing was it was perfect. So I joined in March and now I am going on my very first incentive trip with doTERRA this weekend. I cannot wait. We leave on Saturday. And I am one of the top trip earners. So I will be in that nice upgraded room with the ocean view suites and I can't wait.
Wow. Congratulations. Welcome. This is the place where we focus on what's working and where we bring real stories of real people experiencing success from all over the world. I'm your host, Andy Goddard. My wife and I have been helping people create financial freedom with doTERRA for the past 17 years, almost from the beginning. So at the heart of everything we do here, we're all about a healer in every home. If I could turn the camera, I would show you the healer in every home sign we have in our office. The products, the mission, the business have changed our lives. And so we have created this space to just come together and connect and share inspiring stories. Each week, I interview a different doTERRA business builder to draw out what it really takes for them, for you to create financial freedom and success. So we're going to be sure to cover the tools they used, their top tips, anything that they've learned along the way, especially their mindset and how that shifted to help them create success. I'm really excited for today's guest. April Llewelyn is on Lindsay Norman's team. And so I reached out to Lindsay and I said, hey, who are some of the top up and coming leaders? Who are some active, recent builders who are experiencing success? And, there could have been a lot of people, but April rose to the top of that list from Lindsay. And so graciously, and on such short notice, April offered to come on and share some of her stories. So welcome, April, and thank you so much for being on with us.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's definitely an honor. So I'm almost to my 1 year anniversary with doTERRA, which is
1 year.
exciting.
Wow, congratulations. That's so awesome. And where are you from?
So I just recently moved to Missouri about 6 months ago, but before that I was in Virginia.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, the stage is yours. We're excited to hear your story, what you've learned, what's changed in your life with doTERRA.
So before doTERRA, actually it started pretty much a year ago. I was on an incentive trip with another company and I was watching my friends that have switched over to doTERRA on their incentive trip in Mexico last year that you guys were on. And I saw a picture of all this swag that she had laid all over her hotel bed. And I was so jealous. I couldn't believe how generous doTERRA was. So when she came back from that trip and I came back from mine, we had dinner together with our husbands and kind of just went over the comp plan with doTERRA and how you guys can, how you can create income. And I was feeling overworked. I was doing vendor events every single weekend, lots of hustle, trying to get new sales every single month and having to start over every day or every month was having to start over. So I was just burned out. And then with us moving to Missouri, I couldn't keep up with that kind of pace anymore. So I knew I needed something different. So the timing it was perfect. So I joined in March. And now I am going on my very first incentive trip with doTERRA this weekend. I cannot wait. We leave on Saturday. And I am one of the top trip earners. So I will be in that nice upgraded room with the ocean view suites and I can't wait.
Wow. Congratulations. That's so awesome. Well, tell us more about your journey. What was it? I mean, obviously, you saw that there was truly residual income available. Tell us how you dove in, how did you build, and what's that change for you?
So I just followed the systems. I have a great mentorship. You mentioned that I'm on Lindsay's team. So Lindsay is an amazing mentor, as well as my upline, my sponsor, Judy Danaher. So we did classes. We followed the systems. We did a ton of classes. While I was still in Virginia, we did probably 3 classes a week at my home the first few weeks, and then it kind of tapered off a little bit. And now I continue to do Zoom classes. I try to do 2 a week. It doesn't always end up to be that, but I try to keep classes on my calendar consistently. So I just feel like consistency over perfection. You don't have to know all the products. I know when I first started, I knew absolutely nothing about essential oils. I actually started with the supplements like a lot of people on Lindsay's team do. and that I felt, amazing after 2 weeks of the supplements. But I think a lot of people can feel like they have to know everything before they start sharing, and you don't. So show up even when you don't feel ready.
I
Um,
love that. Yeah, the products can feel overwhelming just because there are so many oils, so many different products. We have a lot of categories even. And so how can I be an expert of them all, right? But you jumped in, you just followed the system, like you said, and tell us more about continuing education. What does you and your team do to shoot that gap, to help people learn about the oils, learn about all the different products doTERRA offers?
Right. So education and then mentorship, it's obviously huge. So especially learning how to communicate clearly, and you want to be confident in what you're sharing. So we do a lot of three-way calls if we have anybody interested in joining doTERRA and want to go over the comp plan. So just kind of lean on your mentors for those three-way calls. The classes when you first joined were held by other people. I didn't do a thing my first probably 2 months in the business. I
Mm.
just kind of plugged into the classes that my mentors were leading. And then when they ask for testimonies, be willing to share a testimony and kind of get that experience and presenting in the classes. And now I am doing the scripts with them. So I think just being around women who are building with integrity and heart has made a huge difference in my business. You can definitely see that on Lindsay's team for sure.
That's awesome. So you said that you've done classes and Zoom classes. Is it mostly Zoom or is it kind of a blend?
So now that I'm in Missouri, most of the people that I know are still on the East Coast. So I do pretty much mostly Zoom. I have found a very amazing church family here that I am
Mhm.
plugging into. So I have done two in-person events here, and I like to do make and take classes. The ladies found that those are a lot of fun. So we did one for Christmas and had little, Christmas gifts they could take home. So those were fun. So yeah, so I do both, but primarily Zoom.
Awesome. That's so cool. And what's your process for inviting? What have you found works in terms of getting people to commit and then actually show up?
I am a paper person, so I write down names and I text. I am starting to do voice texting,
Mm,
which takes a little bit longer than just, copy and pasting. But I feel like with doTERRA, you need to be building
mm,
relationships and being more personal. So I'm doing voice texting more now. But I like a place where I can take notes, and I do a lot of follow up. A lot of people don't respond on the first message, so I feel like follow up is definitely crucial. Sometimes it could take 3 or 4 follow-ups. So I keep following up until they tell me no. And honestly, no isn't a rejection, it's just information.
wow.
So yeah.
That's worth writing down, folks. Yeah. No, it's not a rejection. It's just information. So that's so powerful, right? There's no need to take it personally. Like there's so many factors, timing. Natalie said no for 5 weeks in a row, of invitations to a class on oils. And thank heavens Jen Kelly kept inviting, like,
Exactly.
so yeah, absolutely.
I said no to Judy for probably a year because she was with doTERRA for a year
Wow.
before I came over, and she just kept building
Mm,
that relationship. She kept offering me out to have pedicures together and lunch
wow.
together, and just kept being my friend. And then eventually I
Yeah.
saw all that swag and was like, okay, I need to do this.
Oh, that makes me smile so big. Amy Fulmer has told me about some of the swag that she used to get in her previous company, and like at the top of the company, you'd get like a pen or something. It was like, wow, we are
I
so
have a nice glitter
spoiled.
pen.
The power of swag. I love that in the comment. Yeah, it's funny. We can take it for granted, but it works.
Yeah, so if you're going on the trip this week, post pictures, like
Post
let people
pictures.
know. Make yes.
That's awesome. Well, tell us more about kind of where you've gotten to in the company. Like, what's the top? Like, I know that being a top earner on the trip was not easy. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I built really fast the first few months because I did have a big list to draw from my
Mhm.
previous company. So I did have that look for me. But I'm a silver rank is what I've gotten to so
Wow.
far. So yeah.
Congratulations. That's so awesome. Yeah, silver is a big deal. So I think silver is like the top 0.5% of all network marketers. So that's huge.
I
Um,
definitely don't want to get comfortable here, though. I'm going for higher.
okay, tell us about your goals.
So yeah, I mean, as high as I can get. My husband and I love to travel. Our anniversary is actually February 2nd. So we like to
Oh,
spend our
fun.
anniversary on these free trips. So I want to be able to travel full time.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, doTERRA has given us the trips we never dreamt of, and so you're in the right place. I'm especially excited for you to try a co-impact trip, co-impact sourcing.
Yes.
Those have been just eye-opening, life-changing. So yeah, so good. So you're in for a treat. Um, so I see some questions here. I think we've covered how you filled the classes. So I love that you're making it personal. You're not just like putting out a post and then just hoping, wishing upon a star that people see the post and hop on a Zoom call, right? I mean, my experience, that doesn't work too well. Unless you're some like, influencer with 50,000 followers, that's just
Right.
it tends to be a relationship business. It's about the connection and building the friendship. And I love how you said that Judy did that for you. She
Mhm.
proved her friendship over the course of a year, maybe a year plus. And
Mhm.
so that's powerful. So Jeff, in response to your question, they've surveyed all of network marketing, and the level of financial success that you get to in silver is the top 0.5% in all of network marketing. So that's a big deal. Um, okay, so um, you've got this incredible backstory of climbing and grinding in another company. Um, that must have been really discouraging to think about starting over. So what was it that helped you cast the vision and just be willing to build all over again?
So Judy took me to your house, Andy, in
Okay.
March. So I came to an experience doTERRA with my husband. So I brought him along because he's a dreamer and he likes, helps me plan the vision. He also keeps me grounded too, which is nice. So I brought him along and he saw, the science behind the products and, just meeting you and Natalie and we could definitely see a difference in doTERRA versus our previous company. Um,
Mm.
I think I can't. I'm not good with names. I don't even remember who did our tour in the at the home office, but
Was
they
it
got
Reba?
emotion. Huh? Was it who?
Or well, Reba is the employee, but it might have been James Bybee who was
I
um
think it was
yeah.
James. Yes, it was
Okay,
James.
probably
Yes.
James.
So he shared his part of his story, and he even got emotional and was was tearing up as he was talking. So I'm like just seeing the honesty and the it was just it was amazing. So that is kind of what
Wow.
sealed it. I hadn't fully
Mm.
decided until coming to that. And then I jumped right in. And it was a lot of change. I mean, we moved in June, so our house was in the market at the same time.
Wow.
We were leaving our church family of like 20 something years. So
Wow.
it was very emotional for sure. Yeah. So
Wow. That's so
yeah.
powerful. So getting people to experience doTERRA sounds like that moves the needle. Um,
Yes. If you have
I'm
not seen Andy's home, you have to go.
I'm curious, what did Judy say or do to help you get on a plane, book the time and babysitting and all the things to get here? Because I think that's where some people struggle is they're like, well, yeah, once they get there, great, but how do I get someone to Utah? Like not a real destination for most people, not on everyone's bucket list, right? So what was that conversation like?
I think she just shared with me she had been there before as well, so she shared her experience and just being around the heart of the company and just hearing their stories and so I think for me it was just seeing a company that actually believes in its advocates
Hmm.
and um just more of a support system. Like I said, I was very burnt out at my other company, having to work vendor events, never having a Sunday off.
Hmm.
So she knew I was looking for something different. and she
Mhm.
didn't want me to commit until I saw where the company came from.
Yeah.
So playing doTERRA, they played doTERRA's Genesis video at that and experienced doTERRA. That was the first time I'd seen that.
Mm.
Um,
It's a powerful video.
yeah,
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, go to sharesuccess.com/videos, watch the Genesis video. It's so well done. Really captures the principles, the integrity of the owners and how it all started. Awesome.
yeah.
So um, we have a question in the chat. Um, so when you're filling a class, um, and you've moved to a new area, how do you keep that names list filled? At Experience doTERRA, we do the names list activity, but it sounds like that's an ongoing process. You just pulled up your active names list. How do you keep that names list alive and active?
So for me, since I was coming from a previous company, I had probably 3 to 4 thousand customers in that company already. So I'm a year in and I've only probably gone through 1,000 of my names.
Mhm.
Some of them haven't ordered for me in years, so they're very cold contacts at this point. But so I have a very active names list. But I have done 2 vendor events with doTERRA. I actually
Wow.
love getting out and meeting new people as well. So I probably got 30 names from those 2 very small vendor events in my little town that I did here. And then obviously, posting on social media and being active on social media. My church, I am very active in our church community. So I've met a lot of women through that. So I've gotten a lot of enrollments from just building friendships there. I stay home. I don't work outside the home, so I don't have a normal 9 to 5 job. My kids are older; they're 19 and 21, so I don't have the baseball games or the kids activities to go to anymore. So I had to kind of be strategic in how I find friendships here. But that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. In the chat, Kimberly's asking, what do you do with the names from the vendor event? Do you have them into your home for a class, or what's the follow-up look like?
So I do. So that one there that I did was the end of November. So I invited them all into my house for that Christmas make and take that I did. None of them were able to make it. So I have invited them to a Zoom class. If they can't make a Zoom class, then I try to invite them to a one-on-one phone call with me where I can just briefly share the products.
Awesome. Fantastic. Um, okay, um, on the topic of Experience doTERRA, did your upline cover the cost or help with the cost of, plane tickets or anything else?
Well, we stayed at your house, Andy, so our
Right.
lodging was free. She paid for my flight and I paid for my husband's.
Okay. So pretty much
So yeah,
split the travel cost in half. Awesome.
yeah,
So I think that's an important part of what you're saying. Like Judy believed in you enough to pay for half of the travel costs, or
right.
half of all the costs, really. Like,
And
because
that meant something, yeah.
yeah. So I think that's an important principle for anyone listening is, belief is contagious. When you believe in someone, they begin to believe in themselves. That's one of my favorite quotes from Stephen Covey is true leadership is believing in someone's potential and conveying it so well that they come to believe it in themselves
Right.
and become that, right?
And
So,
I have an issue with believing in myself, just self-acceptance and feeling
mm,
that I am enough. So
mm.
Bergamot has actually been my new favorite oil. I love
Oil of
this one. It's
self-acceptance.
yeah, it's very uplifting and it's calming. It's my new oil. Love it.
I love that. If I can just give everybody, I'm not super confident which company you came from, but the company that Amy came from, Amy Fulmer, you had to do 1,000 PV of personal enrollments every month to get your full commission. So like here in doTERRA, if I have 3 to 5 enrollments, I'm like, yes. So imagine having to personally enroll 1,000 PV every single month if you want to get your full check. Like it's talk about a hamster wheel that you can never get off. Like
And it started all over for month one. Like it went all
yeah,
the way back to zero every single month and
right.
having to find new,
Yeah.
new, new. Yeah. It's
Yeah. Amy said that at her
exhausting.
company, retention rate was like under 5%. So,
Yeah.
they were good at getting sales, but getting people to reorder anything, it just wasn't a highly consumable product. And so it was literally a hamster wheel. And it just sounds exhausting. She talked about Decembers where, the family wants to take a break and have Christmas. And she's like, I can't. I've got to grind. And
Yeah.
so I just take my hat off to anyone who's worked in that company or another company like it. Like just, oh, we are so blessed here in doTERRA. It's
Yeah.
truly a
When
residual
doTERRA said
model.
take the month of December off and relax with your family, I was like, what? I'm allowed to relax? Let's take it. Like, I can
I can
take Christmas
breathe.
off. I
Oh
remember
wow.
one trip with the other company, they actually had a double points promotion while we were on the trip. So we're on the incentive
Ah,
trip we earned, and we're trying to get sales because we have this promotion going on right now. So I'm like,
oh
I
my
can't even.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah. Amy said that she spoke to the ownership and she was like, why do you want us to just be on this hamster wheel? And the ownership told her, well, we don't think it's healthy to ever take a break. We think that it's healthy to always be working. And she was like, that's a recipe for total burnout. Like you were gonna fry your entire field. So, anyways, I'm just so grateful for the culture we have, for the possibilities we have here. It's amazing.
yeah. It was a big adjustment coming to doTERRA. I feel like I'm building slower with this company, but it's
Mhm.
more intentional.
Yeah.
So I feel I have to just kind of pause sometimes and okay, I'm not trying to get a sale, I'm trying to build a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not focused on a certain rank. I'm focused on just building those relationships and just kind of really knowing what your why is and why you're doing this. Yeah, and just give
Yeah.
yourself permission to kind of grow as you go. So it's been a difference, but it's nice.
Yeah. It's a long play, right? I don't know if I've told this story on this call before, but after Natalie had built in her team in doTERRA for a couple months, she was probably working 30, 40 hours a week. Her average income was probably coming out to, $1.50 an hour. And so I came in, we set up a meeting with Greg Cook. And I was like, look, Greg, we love your products, but your comp plan stinks. It's awful. And he just sat there and smiled and nodded his head and listened to us. And he said, just be patient, Andy. doTERRA is not a get rich quick. It's a hockey stick. So you're going to see long, steady growth, and then you'll see that exponential growth come over time. So just be patient and yeah.
I think I try to dive in for the sell too quick, or I used to. When I first came on, I try to get the sell as soon as, but just get to the point, get the sell. But Sarah Shoemaker on my team has taught me it's more of like a pickleball match. You want to do back and
hmm
forth and just build
hmm
that conversation.
hmm
Yeah.
Exactly. There's another question here. Have you found leaders yet to work with you?
So I honestly have not. I have a lot of placeholders on my team. So I've gotten to silver pretty much on my own. I am training with Lindsay. She's worked with a lot of the silvers on her team to just be a stronger share of the business. So we have a challenge now, which I think started last week, to share the business with 2 to 3 people each week. So I am working on that.
I love it. I love the focus. I love the intentionality. And I love that Lindsay is self-aware enough to be like, hey, this is the need in the team right now. So I love that so much. And that's how it all starts, right? Starts with
Yeah.
intention. And I'm so grateful that you see the need as well and you're working towards that because if all you have is you can have a presidential diamond team full of customers and all you really have is a customer support job. So until you have leaders and builders who are partnered with you, who are carrying the load, helping with momentum, then and that's not what anybody of us want, right? Like we didn't join doTERRA to be customer support.
Mhm.
So although there's nothing wrong with customer support, it's part of the culture too, right? Taking care of everyone.
On a good balance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, does anybody have any other questions for April? I'm so grateful for you coming and sharing your story and all the tips that you've learned along the way. Kim asks, what's your favorite class to teach? It's a good question.
Foundational wellness, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Foundational wellness. Love it. So if those, many of you may not know Lindsay's approach, but she felt like the essential oils category was flooded and not a real differentiator. And so she very intentionally led her and her team with supplements as the front door and then essential oils as the back door. So that's not what most of us have done, and that's okay. Look at Lindsay. She's got a huge, thriving team, and it's working great. I think the key is do what works for you. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to do what others do. Be the brilliant version of yourself, and it works. Amy says, how many hours a week do you work?
So I don't have an outside job, so I'm doing doTERRA pretty much full time. So
Okay.
probably 20 to 25 hours a week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay. Well, if anybody does have any more questions, feel free to raise your hand and we can bring you on live. Um, but if not, thank you so much, April. I'm so grateful for your willingness to share of your brilliance, your journey, all the learnings along the way. Um, that's our culture, right? We share. We all the rising tide lifts all ships. So thank you for raising the tide today.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and we'll see you in Dominican Republic.
Yes, where it's got much warmer and no snow. So I'm excited.
I'm excited about the sunshine. All right. Thanks, April. Awesome. Wow. I hope you were as inspired as I was. Ruth's got her hand raised, so let's see if she's got a question in general or a question for April.
I don't know. I don't know if April just hopped off or not, but my
She's
question
she's
for
still
her.
on, but yeah, I'll invite her to come back on if you've got a question for her.
Okay,
Go
thanks.
ahead. She can still hear.
Okay. Um, April, you had mentioned the feelings like a lot of us have of, oh, I don't know if I'm enough, and that process of belief. And I'm curious, besides the belief of your upline and the bergamot you're using, do you have any other tips on mindset and coming to a place where you're able to receive that success and be a leader and be a light? I mean, you're awesome. You're amazing. It's really great to have you share with us. Do you have anything to say on that topic?
Thanks, Ruth. I think one of the biggest shifts was realize that I don't need to be an expert to help somebody. You just need to be one step ahead of them and willing to share. I jumped right in, taking the supplements because I wanted to have a testimony. So I started on supplements before I joined doTERRA. And I had a testimony within 2 weeks of being on the supplements. Like the products are just that phenomenal. I felt the difference in within 2 weeks. But don't feel like you have to have an immediate results to share. I use a lot of other stories from other people. Judy's got a great gut testimony where she's healed her what do you call it? I can't even think of the name of it now. Celiac disease.
Oh,
So
wow.
I like to use other people's stories until I'm able to create my own. Um, and don't attach your worth to your outcome. Like just share openly. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That's so helpful. I'm curious, do you know her story and her remedy for celiac? That would be answered so many prayers for people.
I know she did the 90-day reset with a couple of extra items added to that, but I'm pretty sure it was the 90-day reset.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for everything.
No problem.
April, do you have any like daily habits that you found are useful for just reinforcing your belief in yourself?
So like I said, I'm a very big paper and pen kind of person. So I try to have at least 10 reach outs every single day where I'm creating new conversations. And then I also follow up every single day with people.
Hmm.
So 10 new reach outs and follow up. And then I'm not very good on social media. I don't have a very strong social media presence. I'm working on that, but I would recommend posting on social media as well, but I just I'm not there yet. So
Awesome. Love that so much. Amy says, what's your favorite routine for self-improvement?
So I love the Mel Robbins podcast. After hearing her speak at conference, I had listened to her 5 Second Rule book before, but I've now joined her podcast, and I love Mel. So I listen to, not every day, but I do listen to hers. And then Judy shared some affirmations with me, so I'm a big affirmations person as well. So I like to, let me see if I can pull these up really quickly. I don't even know where she set those. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I like to say affirmations before I get to work. So I think I have them on my desktop here. Here we go. So she calls them her diamond mindset affirmations. So I am a powerful, confident leader. I communicate with kindness, gratitude, and respect. I attract motivated, purpose-driven business partners who are ready to grow. I am creating momentum every day through inspired action. I know exactly what to do, and I do it with clarity and joy. I speak boldly, lead courageously, and serve generously. I am in alignment with my purpose, and this is my season to rise. I am a diamond leader, and my team is growing in strength, belief, and volume every day. I am worthy of abundance, overflow, and financial freedom. My energy creates breakthroughs for my team. I am calm, focused, and unstoppable. I celebrate progress. I lead with vision. I finish strong. The people I am called to lead are already looking for me. I am becoming the person required to lead at the next level. There is no security in staying small and unnoticed. I am ready to overcome my fear and success and step into my brilliance.
Wow. That's a mic drop moment right there. So if I were you listening, I would back that up and type those down and use those affirmations myself. The diamond mindset affirmations. That's powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, somebody's asking for more information on the celiacs. I would just go to the Essential Life book or app and go look that up. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
So lots of great information there. Okay, any other questions for April? Fantastic. Yeah, I'm another Mel Robbins fan. I think her keynote at convention was the best we've ever had. Just I was bawling myself. So good. And I think that's a doTERRA virus, by the way, the crying thing. Because James Bybee,
Just
he's my brother-in-law, and he didn't cry before doTERRA, but he's got that bug now. So,
get the emotions out.
yep, that's right. Fantastic. Well, is there anything else you want to share, April?
No, but I have an amazing team that I am just following behind and leading, following in their footsteps. So I learn as I grow. So
Learn as you grow. Those are words to live by right there. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for coming on and just letting us bask in all of your success.
thank you.
We'll see you. Yes, lots of nuggets there to write down, as Amy says. Lots of good things there. Awesome. Wow. That was some great stuff. I hope you learned as much as I did. Um, yeah, success is much more about persistence, right? About just showing up day after day and just who was it? Oh, Warren Buffett. He was giving a talk on success in investing, and he said it's the most unsexy thing you can imagine. He said, compare it to watching paint dry, right? Like who sits around and watches wet paint dry? But that's what success is like. It doesn't, there's no, it's not like this glamorous, slam dunk kind of moment. It's a lot of boring days of just consistent showing up, and yeah, consistency over perfection. So powerful. All right, well, we have a few minutes left, so I'm here to answer any questions anyone has. If you want to raise your hand, come on live. Becky says, does VMG break a fast? Okay, so some of you may do intermittent fasting, or you're looking at that. There are lots of different schools of thought on this. There are purists who would say that anything, taking anything but water breaks a fast. And so people would call that dirty fasting if you're taking something like BMG. I think the best way to answer that question for you is to use a CMG, a CGM, continuous glucose monitor, because you don't know if something's going to hit your glucose until you look at the numbers, and you'll know right away if it does for you or not. I've heard some people it does and some people it doesn't. So just get the data. Data doesn't lie. Awesome. Great question, Becky. Yeah. What are the questions you have? If I could give another shameless plug for leadership, it's going to be epic. We've got such a great lineup. Awesome. Becky says, yeah, we have a team member who doesn't feel good taking BMG without food. So now she does it with food and feels a lot better. Love it. Yep. Everybody is different, right? We're as different on the inside as we are on the outside. So yeah. Okay. Jeff says, can we get a continuous glucose monitor without a prescription? Yes, you can. I just found them on Amazon the other day. So no prescription needed. Just hop on Amazon and get yourself a CGM. Okay, we've got a question from Sherry. When is the next Unplugged event? I believe that Essential Life has a link at the top of their page. Oh, looks like that hasn't been updated. Okay, so I believe the next event is, that would be January 19th, based on the Experience doTERRA schedule. So let me just confirm that real quick. So the next Northern Utah is January 19th. I just heard yesterday that they're going to be hosting an Unplugged event in St. George, Utah. And I also know there's one coming up in is it Wisconsin. I think Dana Moore is helping organize one in Wisconsin. I think Lori Hayes is organizing one in Atlanta, Georgia. So I know that's not super useful for everyone to just have a vague, broad stroke like that. Amy says yes on the Georgia. So if you have information on that, okay. Jean says Milwaukee is February 13th. And Amy, if you have info on the Atlanta one, please let us know. But the Utah/Salt Lake County one is February 19th. So yeah. So to find the exact dates and links, just stay on the Essential Life webpage and then click on Unplugged Events at the top right. So, and Jean says Dr. Hill is coming to the Milwaukee one, February 13th. We ran into Dr. Hill the other day at doTERRA, and he was just going home to grab his bags to head out to Japan. So he's going to Japan and Korea. I think he'll be there for a couple weeks. That guy is tireless. He's just incredible the way he's pouring into us and continuing to show up and travel and really just do whatever it takes to help us stay inspired and educated on the power of the oils. That's the true power that we have here in doTERRA. All right. Any other questions? Comments? Okay. Jeff says he likes VMG after his first glass of water in the morning before his coffee, and it feels great. Love that. One thing I did learn, oh heck, I'm trying to remember if you've watched Laura Jacobs' Foundational Wellness webinars, you'll know that she definitely encourages people doing the 90-day reset to avoid caffeine. I can't remember if it's upset stomach. I think that's what it is. But if you're getting symptoms like that, that's the first thing to eliminate is any caffeine if you're trying to get the full benefit without, rough side effects. So Kim asks, have you heard anything about the AromaTouch Ambassador program? I haven't personally. Dr. Hill did mention that they're doing some tweaks to the AromaTouch program, and a lot of that's coming out at Leadership. So definitely, if you haven't registered, get signed up. Come play with us in San Diego. Okay. Okay, Jean corrects herself on the Milwaukee date. It's February 18th, 5 to 8 p.m. Thank you for that update. Awesome. All right, any other questions? Go ahead and raise your hand if you want to come on live or throw in the chat. Okay, more detail from Jean. The Milwaukee event is at the Marriott West Waukesha, Waukesha. It's $10 to attend that event. Okay, Stephanie has a question that I don't know the answer to, so if anybody can help with support with Revitazen. Okay, so the link, Angie, is going to come at essentiallife.com. Currently, it's pointing the link to Unplugged events is going to the past event, so that's not super helpful, but just stay tuned. Hopefully today that'll be updated. Okay. Amy just put in the dates for the Atlanta event. Sounds like that's February 19th at 6:30, $7 a ticket. And Ruth says that if you have questions about AromaTouch, just email aromatouch@doterra.com and they'll answer your questions. Awesome. Any other questions today? Love the lively chat. Well, if not, I want to thank each of you for being here, for being curious, for being hungry, for being humble enough to learn. Staying hungry and staying humble are core keys to success. Natalie and I have seen over time leaders who don't stay hungry and don't stay humble, they just don't go as far. So keep that recipe alive and well in your doTERRA business and help inspire that in others, and you'll go far. Thank you again to April for showing up today and sharing her story and her success. Dominican Republic, here we come. Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone, and we'll see you next week.